Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Kingdom Women Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the build up. Positive affirmations. It's something that we all need. We may not know we need it. It may be something that others desire but are not getting it. But today we're going to be talking about why it's important. So come on, join us in the conversation. Positive affirmations. Okay. Historically, we use our words to tear people down. We use our words to tell people off. We use our words. Some people cuss, some people yell, some people scream, right? How, I guess not, but however, our words should be used to build each other up. This world does enough with tearing us down, tearing our children down, labeling us for things that we're not even, we're not those people. We're not doing those things. Also, being able to, it's almost like mind manipulation.
Yeah.
So the people that we are attached to, we should be using the build up.
I agree. I've seen the effects of the opposite of affirmations. The words that tear down. I've even been the recipient of words that tear down. I'm sure we all have.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you internalize them when you receive that message. Do you receive it? Do you reject it? Do you have a conversation with yourself about the person that said it, why they felt that way? All those things play in your mind.
Yeah.
So I say that the effects of it can be very negative. However, you can turn it around.
Do you think people have the emotional maturity to be able to say, receive that, reject that, receive that, reject that? Or do you first think it sinks into the heart and begin to kind of take root?
I think initially it probably does sink into the heart. It kind of takes you back, may even move you to tears, anger. An array of emotions can come behind it.
Yeah.
So I think initially it is received in the heart, but then from that point, what do you do with that? Do you keep it there?
Yeah.
Do you let it fester and grow and allow what was spoken over you to come into fruition and manifest?
Yeah.
Or do you reject it and you turn it around for yourself?
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
Well, I can honestly say that words of that were not affirming, that I received them and I held on to them.
Oh.
Because there was no one there to give me positive affirmations. From the people my mom allowed us to live with, where a lot of the abuse took place. I was always told, you'll never be nothing. You'll be just like your mama, having a house full of kids, a whole lot of baby different daddies. And, it was just tear down, tear down, tear down. And then when my mom finally came and got us in her drinking or whatever, she tore down. That part of her that was, drinking and whatever. And so, and then you go out into this world, you get a job, and you're torn down.
Right.
You're made not to feel important.
Yeah.
A part of, or and but I remember I had a very kind supervisor, who was just one person who kind of encouraged me and said positive things, and no, it was more than her. I remember, because I've done nurse's aid work, and I remember my nurse manager, she told me one time, never marry a job. Never marry a job, she said, because
that's good wisdom.
Something, you die, they're going to replace you.
Yeah.
And the other supervisor that I had, she, I got pregnant with Nairi, and, she was just loving and there, but now I'm an adult. And so it's hard, like you said, do you receive them and you hold on to them, or do you reject them and move on? Well, I had been torn down so much that, how when you just stack stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff, you just keep it, you keep it, you keep it. Then when it does get too much, it comes out in wrong. Depression, anxiety, whatever.
That's right.
So
it manifests
in the negative versus the affirmative, But there are some people that have had that happen to them, and they've been strong enough to reject it.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on the makeup of the person, or do their environments change that now they're in a more affirming place in life, or people are in their lives that are affirming them now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not continuing to be in the negative environment. They've now moved from the negative to the positive.
So those positive affirmations are needed to build up our character, to build, and also gives us a point of identification. Like, I can identify with that. This is what I should be. This is, the characteristics I should take on. But I also have found that when you are or have been torn down, so much, even when the positive affirmations come about, it's still hard to believe that about ourselves, right?
Yes.
It's hard for us to say, really?
Yeah.
I am that? Or really? You think I am this? From being beautiful, something so simple, a kind word. It's hard to really grab hold of that, because we truly believe what has been spoken to us that's negative.
Yeah.
So how do you do the work? How the build up? How does the build up begin? Like, how have you found the build up to? Because truth be told, which we're talking about one side of the fence now, we're talking about being on the receiving end of the build up. But in a minute, we need to also talk about the flip side, when we're the ones that's shooting the shots, right?
Yeah.
When we're the ones that's throwing the daggers. Because most people play both sides of the coin, or may not all the time, but we're on one side or the other. So positive affirmations, when you begin to see that, how did you turn that work? Like, how did you do the work to turn that around to say, you know what, I am the righteousness of God. You know what, I am beautiful. Like, how I know for me, it was seeing myself in the love of God.
Yeah, I think how you view yourself has everything to do with it. And I say that because how you view yourself is how you even believe that the Father views you. So if you have a negative view of you, you can't even receive how he even sees you. And in Jeremiah 29, he says that he has, before you were even born, he knew.
Yeah.
He already knew. He already knows what you're going to be. He already knows what your destiny and purpose is. But in that, do you believe that? Do you believe that he sees that? Do you believe that he has that for you?
Yeah.
It's all in how you approach yourself and view yourself as far as what you receive, even from the Father. Because even he says, without faith, it's impossible to please him. So if you don't believe him, if you don't have the faith, you're not pleasing him. How can you even receive everything that he has for you?
Right. Which is how positive affirmations come in.
Yes.
I have to now remind myself that I am this. I have to keep telling myself that I am that. So when I'm thinking that, because a man that thinketh so is he, so then that means if I can change my thought, like you said, and by reminding myself, then I should see my actions line up with those words.
And that takes work. And sometimes we don't know where to start. And because we don't know where to start, we don't do anything. But for me, mine was counseling. Because I was sick and tired of being sick. sick and tired of being sick, of being depressed, of being anxious, of being worried, of being fearful. You know, that wears on you, you know. And I say I was a functioning sick person. I could go to work, I could take care of my kids, I could pay the bills, but let one crisis occur and I'm broken. You know, I'm in a crisis now. You know, the crisis could be like this, but I'm viewing it like this, you know, and I'm depressed. I'm not eating. I'm losing weight. I'm not functioning. I can't go to work. I'm barely taking care of my kids. So for me, that ended up being in the hospital to get stabilized and then home. And it just got to the point where enough was enough, you know. But it took counseling, and especially the right counselor. Because I've been through a few, and not all of them are the best, you know. Some of them you leave worse off than what you came in. But it took counseling, and then once I got really serious about wanting to be well, you know, I started doing the work.
Yeah.
But you have to make a decision about, are you tired of this? And if you are you willing to do the work? And the work is hard, and the work is painful. And yes, you may have to relive some things you don't want to, but you need to relive them so you can move on. You know, so then when you do look in the mirror, it doesn't matter that, Sheila, you were told, ooh, you're an ugly little girl, you know, your hair was nappy, you're skinny, you're bow-legged, you'll never be nothing. And so when I looked in the mirror, that's what I saw. You know, I saw this little girl, these people I stayed with, the lady, she had an older daughter, much older daughter than us. And she took us to the carnivals, myself and my sister. And my sister was very light-skinned, curly hair like this, like, look, you know, just pretty. And then there's me, you know, head nappy, got on a white, I look like a Catholic school girl, you know, a white shirt, some blue shorts, and all these plaits in my head, you know. And so it just was like, wow, you know, again, what we talked about earlier, value. I didn't see any value. If these adults don't see any value in me, then how can I see any value in me?
So how did you turn? You talked about like doing the work, Sheila. Like, so is the work truly reminding yourself of the positive affirmations, or is the work truly going back to the root of it and denouncing those things?
The work is truly in going back to the root of it and talking to that young person, that little Sheila, saying, you know, when they told you this, this, and this, that wasn't true.
Yeah.
That was a lie.
Yeah.
And now, especially that I have given myself to the Lord, that I am, you know, I can firmly stand and say, I was his then, it's just like I'm his now.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. That's right. That's good. That's good. So, flipping the coin, because sometimes our mouths can be lethal.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes our actions can be lethal, right? So now that which we have spoken about, we now become the person who does that to other people. Is that learned behavior or taught behavior? What are you thinking?
It can be learned and taken from what was done to you.
Right.
And now you're taking that same behavior and inflicting it on someone else.
Right.
So is it right? Absolutely not. However, if that's all you know, that's all you can give.
Yeah, you do what you know. And I would agree. I find that, yes, it's something, either it's something that we have learned or it becomes a protection. Because oftentimes we fire off because we think we have to defend or protect ourselves, not understanding that that's not building anybody up. That's tearing them down, even though shots may have been fired at you first, right? Still, we're responsible for ourselves and how we govern ourselves. Ephesians 4:29 says, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of our mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs.
Wow.
right? That it may benefit those who listen. The key word in that is according to their need, because oftentimes shots are fired from a broken place, from a hurt place, and we're not thinking about what that other person need right then.
That's right.
We're just like,
You triggered something in me. You know,
Yeah.
I got to fire back quickly.
Yes.
But
Yep.
I think the building up comes when we acknowledge, oh man, what did I just do?
Yes.
What did I just say?
Recognizing that before, because you know what, you're right, because you know, we're all honest with ourselves. It becomes that moment where it switches, which is, I may have released it, but immediately thereafter I'm convicted and saying, dang, why I say that?
I didn't really want to say that, but you because a lot of times we operate off of a trigger. You know, either we feel offended,
Yeah.
and we have to defend.
Or you coming for me, don't come for me.
Right.
Right.
So we lash out, and what is the most powerful tool? Our tongue. You know, and so, but we also have to be willing to say, hey, I am so sorry for what I just said, because that's not how I really see you.
Isn't it the real work though?
Yeah.
The real work is in the humility piece of it, right? Being able to quickly, not 4 days later, 26 days later, not 2 years later. It's when because oftentimes we are convicted immediately thereafter, but then it becomes the choice of whether I'm going to say, I didn't mean to say that. Or it's that choice to say, you know what, that was not thoughtful of me. I was not compassionate towards your situation.
Yes.
You know, that's where the work come in, because it's a struggle. Flesh.
Yeah.
That
I know.
flesh, what you know to do from a godly perspective, and this flesh over here saying, you forgot what they said to you, but then you're remembering. It's like the Holy Spirit is convicting you and saying, you know what, you need to apologize. And the flesh over here saying, did you hear what they said to you? They came for you. That you know, so we have to make a choice.
Absolutely.
Make a choice to be able to say, the buck stops here.
Right.
It stops here.
Right.
I know, and that was a hard lesson, you know, for what I said to my friend at work, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like the enemy set me up, because she was always saying, man, when I leave here, some days I just feel like taking a gun and blowing my head off. She just always said it. And one day she just teed me off, and she said it. You know, I'm so tired when I leave here because I'm cleaning up behind you. I just feel like taking a gun. Why didn't you? And the instant I said it, I was convicted. And the Lord said, you know, you need to ask that woman you need to ask for forgiveness. Ask her to forgive you for that. Because I know that's nothing that I would ever want anyone to say to me. You know, why didn't you take that gun and just do it? You know, and I mean, I struggle with that, because I just felt that and that's the other key, we just feel like we're so in the right. You know, well, they came for me first.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we start justifying why we said, why we acted. And oftentimes the justification comes from the fact that we already know we're wrong.
Yeah.
We know that we are wrong, but then it becomes, let me try to find out ways to support why I'm wrong. I already know I'm wrong. So it's like supporting the wrongness, you know.
God is telling you, okay, who are you trying to convince? Yourself and yourself? Because you're not convincing me, because I know you were wrong.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit knows you were wrong. And you really know you were wrong. So what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And you did apologize.
I did, tearfully.
Hey.
I mean, I was a hot mess. Right at work, at the front desk.
You did it though.
I was like, I just need you. I'm so sorry for what I
It's the
said.
reenactments for me.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. Can you forgive
It's
me?
like we were right there. It's like being on the front row. Her telling it is like being
y'all
right
had
there.
been there because the patients was like looking at me, looking at her, looking at me. I'm snotting. And she was like, "Oh no, don't start crying."
Oh my goodness.
Like,
And it's, you know what, it's so nice that she went from how dare you to now consoling you.
mm-hmm.
Now consoling you. That's how you know it was well received and it was God ordained. It's because she immediately changed her whole posture, her whole attitude. And y'all are good friends to this day, right?
Right.
So it's just, yeah.
So it's like, we have to own up to it immediately because people, some of us, we carry that with us.
Yeah, and everybody can't handle. People always say, well, I just spoke the truth. Well, there's a way that you can speak the truth in love. Absolutely. Jesus always spoke the truth, but he never tore anyone down. Yeah. He never made anyone feel less than. Even when he came for the Sadducees and the Pharisees, right? He just was matter of fact with it, with the truth. So we can speak the truth in love, but it doesn't have to be the tearing down, the name calling, the negative things about people. You can just simply say what you think, what you feel, and let that be so. Oftentimes our witness is tainted, right? Yeah. Because yes, we want to speak encouragement, but then we add in all that other stuff, right? It's like the encouraged part is of God, but then that rest of that stuff that you added on, no. That was your flesh moving in there. That was your flesh moving in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we stay positive? Positive affirmations, I've heard people say they put them on their mirrors. They put them in their phones. It's important, even more so with this wayward world we live in, to know the truth about ourselves and to pass that on to our children, that they will know the truth about themselves, who they are, and how we feel about them, right? So often it's kind of taboo that growing up, I don't recall walking in any of my friends' family or even in my household where every day it was like, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you today. You know, that wasn't, but those are positive affirmations that we needed growing up as children, so that way we wouldn't grow up with all these isms and schisms.
I know I have affirmations on my bathroom mirror, and since my bathroom also, everyone that's downstairs, community bathroom, you know, so it's up there on the mirror. And I've encouraged, you know, when Nari was younger, I encouraged her to write them. And so it's on her mirror. And we've encouraged Zion to do it, Lyric to do it. And we have, you know, some pictures on our wall, or, you know, like we have the blessed over in the kitchen, and we have house rules. We would love each other. We would speak honesty, you know. So they're seeing it, you know. Nari write Lyric a letter, you know, sorry I couldn't miss. I know you're going to be good. I love you, you know. So
that's good.
You know, when she has to have that talk with Zion, it's first, I want to tell you that I love you and I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
But these are some things that I would like to see change. So they're receiving the words, you know, followed by action.
But isn't it interesting that, and I love that, but it's interesting that we can use, and those of you in corporate America, you'll recognize this, we can use the sandwich method for the people that we work with, but we won't use it for our own families. So the sandwich method is you start off with something positive, then you slide in the correction piece, and then you end with something positive, right? We use that method in the workplace to give feedback all the time. But at home, it's like shots fired, buckshots, boom, 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 right? You done laid a whole family out with just your tongue, how lethal we are. So we could take a page from that. If we can do it in the workplace, we definitely can do it in the home, because it's beneficial, because the same, we're grooming future workers, future entrepreneurs, you know, to be able to live in this world, and they have to know the same way we needed to know how important we are, how beautiful we are, how loved we are, what God says about us, that we are not confused about any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really good. So how would you encourage, Angela?
I would encourage affirmations, positive affirmations, to be used on a consistent basis. The reminders, you can find them in books. You can find them by writing them out yourself. You can even have a devotional that affirms as well. And I just want to take a moment in the encouragement to even say, for those words that were spoken over you, those word curses, those negative affirmations that were said to you. If you've never received an apology, I'm apologizing for them today.
I love that. Yes, Lord.
Please take this as their apology. I want to give you permission to move on past what was said over you, past what was spoken over you. They were lies. They were not the truth. Even if some of the things were what you did before, who you are now, or actions that you did before who you are now. Those are in the past. As the word says, that the sins are thrown into the sea of forgetfulness. They're in the past. Move on, move forward. You are who God has called you to be. Walk in it, walk and move in your destiny and purpose. You've been released to do that today.
Amen.
Oh,
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful,
girl.
beautiful. We just want to say thank you so much for joining in the conversation today. If you're not following us, subscribing, sharing, we encourage you to do so. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Kingdom Women Talk. Until next time, be blessed.